Hi everyone, I hope you're all safe and well. This week in English, we are going to be learning all about fables. So, what is a fable? A fable is a story that will feature plants, animals, and sometimes natural forces that are given human qualities. Fables will also always end with a certain moral that the writer wants to put across to the reader. One of the most famous fables is the Tortoise and the Hare. There was once a hare who bragged about how fast he could run. Tired of hearing him boast, the tortoise challenged the hare to a race. All the animals in the forest gathered to watch the race. The hare set off down the road, but within seconds he paused for a rest. How do you expect to win this race when you are walking along at your slow pace? He cried out to the tortoise. The hare, thinking that there was plenty of time to relax, stretched himself out below a tree and fell asleep. The tortoise walked and walked. He didn't stop until he got to the finish line. The animals cheered loudly for the tortoise and woke up the hare. The hare got up, after having a stretch and a yawn, and set off running again. But it was too late. The tortoise was already at the finish line. So after that, the hare always reminded himself, don't brag about your lightning pace, for slow and steady won the race. This fable was written by one of the most famous fable writers, Aesop. What are fables? Fables are short stories that have a moral and teach a lesson. The theme and characters are interesting, and the stories are often funny and entertaining. Fables can also be described as stories that have a message in their storyline. Fables are often passed on into our culture as myths or legends, and are used to teach us about morals. The characters. The characters in fables are usually animals who act and talk just like people, while keeping their animal traits. Examples include the tortoise and the hare, the fox and the crow, or the lion and the mouse. The most famous fables are from Aesop. These fables are all very short and feature familiar animals. Aesop was a slave in ancient Greece. He was a keen observer of both animals and people. The main fable that we are going to be focusing on this week is called The Lion and the Mouse. Let's have a listen to the fable. A lion lay asleep in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose. Roused from his nap, the lion laid his huge paw angrily on the tiny creature to kill her. "Spare me," begged the poor mouse. "Please let me go, and someday I will surely repay you." The lion was amused to think that a mouse could ever help him, but he was generous and finally let the mouse go. Some days later, while stalking his prey in the forest, the lion was caught in a hunter's net. Unable to free himself, he filled the forest with his angry roaring. Roar! The mouse knew the voice and quickly found the lion struggling in the net. Running to one of the great ropes that bound him, she gnawed on it until it parted, and soon the lion was free. "You laughed when I said I would repay you," said the mouse. "Now you see that even a mouse can help a lion." For your task today, I want you to create a story map for the first paragraph of the fable, The Lion and the Mouse. Lion slept in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him, unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose. Let's just have a think about some actions that we can do to help us if you can't quite remember the story and you're finding it a little bit difficult. Actions and pictures can be really helpful. So, lion slept in the forest. What am I going to do for lion? I think I might do lion slept in the forest. I'm going to do some trees for forest. There's my trees. So, lion slept in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly. So timid means you're quite frightened, so maybe we could have a timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly. And in her fright and haste to get away, and in her fright and haste means you're going very quickly, haste to get away, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose and slept in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose. Lion slept in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose. Slept in the forest, his great head resting on his paws. A timid little mouse came upon him unexpectedly, and in her fright and haste to get away, ran across the lion's nose.